And we also have Adrian in the back that is making all this stuff look pretty and whatnot. So we are heading into round 7 of 9. That means we are switching decks once again. And now it is Pioneer time. How do you feel about Pioneer, Ross?
Pioneer is in a pretty interesting spot because
Yeah.
it got a big shakeup with the unban of Smuggler's Copter and the ban of
one of your favorite cards, right?
Yes, and the ban of Karn the Great Creator.
Yeah.
We saw the new metagame showcased in a big way at the U.S. Regional Championship last month, and now we're starting to see the fallout from that tournament. It was Amalia combo was the big breakout deck,
Yep.
and then Azorius Control was sort of the counter to Amalia, and now we're sort of seeing the counter to the counter.
Yeah.
How do we beat those decks? And of course, there's the ever presence of Rakdos midrange and is it Phoenix with Treasure Cruise? So yeah, and, no surprise to see all those decks out in pretty big numbers. But as we've been talking about all day, it's Enchanties that is pacing the field in terms of numbers. Now it's time to see if that deck can back it up.
Exactly, because we don't see a lot of them at the top. We don't see a lot of them at the top of the metagame right now.
That's no fault of the Enchanties deck because they've been playing 2 other formats to get to this point.
Exactly. So there's a lot of interesting, diverse decks at the top. A lot of Rakdos midrange is still doing well. Of course, once again, this is not the format that they've been playing. But so far, I think I really like where all the formats are at. Maybe Modern is at a little bit of a spot where it needs a shakeup again already, even though the bans just happened. But
keep banning cards until Grinding Breach is the best deck, and then stop.
That guy gets it. That guy gets it. But you know who else gets it? Our opponents here for the first round here in round 7 of 9. They're ready to go. Let's jump on in and start it up with Pioneer here. Looks like we got It's Swifty time versus Magic of Player 1. Ross, let's see. What are these players playing?
So Swifty time playing Rakdos midrange, and their list, honestly, a little bit more old school. They are playing a couple copies of Inti, but no Copters. Instead, going for Bank Busters.
Okay, this is the more mid-range control style, huh?
Yes, the slower, a little bit more powerful version of the deck. Magic of Player 1 playing a 5-color mid-range deck, but not Fires of Invention Enigmatic Incarnation. They're instead playing Omnath Bring to Light as their mid-range over-the-top cards. I gotta say, in a matchup like this, I prefer to be the more aggressive version of Rakdos. These 4 and 5 color decks are very good at taking over the mid to late game. So you need to be aggressive from the Rakdos side. Having Copter is the best way to do that.
Yeah, especially up against this kind of Bring to Light deck. Like, I think I favor Magic of Player 1 just by going over the top. But that being said, that hand looks like a hot mess.
All their hands look like a hot mess.
Oh yeah,
it'll come together. Don't worry.
And Ross, double check me on this. These players are both X and 1, correct?
Yes. So this is a match to lock day 2.
Winning in for these players already. They get 3 of them, so would have to have a lot of things go wrong to not get there. But here is old Reckoner Bankbuster. One thing it does better than Smuggler's Copter for next turn: attacks for 4 instead of 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Start drawing some cards.
It looks like we're probably going to get this Graveyard Trespasser going. And here we go. Break the bank. Get that Buster into combat. Get deal 4.
Bust that bank. That's pretty good.
Yep. Bankbuster coming in for 4. And let's see what we got. Fable the Mirror Breaker is one card that really tickles a lot of hands. And this hand needs some work. So this is going to be a slam dunk play here.
Yeah, we'd really like to have that Leyline binding. I guess we can ask that.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. They can have the normal prior cards. That's exactly like I have. Instead of going to get the able down, make a Goblin Shaman. Of course, Swifty playing Rakdos has a ton of ways to the Goblin.
Yep.
Ooh, and we found that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And you see that weird kind of pop up. When the players look at the hand, it does pop into our hand viewer here, so have no fear that we'll go back quite shortly. And honestly, it's like, yeah, what do you take? Because in Swifty time, if we would have had that last turn, being able to go Thoughtseize and then play Croxa Crew and attack, that would have been so much better. Taking Fable here, then your opponent's left with some nonsense, to say the least.
Instead gets the Leyline binding. That's the best way for them to answer Reckoner Bankbuster.
Yep.
Other than Portable Hole.
This looks like the old play Crew And then post combat, you can fatal push that shaman. So there's no Omnath fetch land situations. Now, do we even have fetch lands? Are they playing
They are
Fabled Passage?
four Fable
Okay.
Passage.
Gotcha. That's the only fetch line in Pioneer that you can really go with besides some of the really bad lands where, come into play again.
Evolving Wilds,
Exactly.
Terramorphic Expanse.
Yeah, yeah. All these unplayable style cards.
Discards one of the Bring to Lights to the Croxa. That makes a lot of sense. And now we're coming across for 7.
Could attack for 8, which is a 2-turn clock, but you got to eat your own Croxa, which is not ideal.
Is not.
Okay, so big couple draw steps.
If you do that and your opponent draws a land and plays Omnath, you can bitter try if the Omnath and have lethal.
Exactly.
I think at this point it might be. Well, we drew Binding.
Okay, so hand's gonna look a little different because you got to discard. Might just give rid of 2 Bring to Lights. There's a chance that you just want to control the game.
I could see,
Definitely one of them. One of them almost for sure.
I can see discarding the Chain of the Rocks too.
I mean, the top 3 cards are uncastable, so I'm discarding 2 of those. And Omnath I think is better right now, even though it's not that great. I could see Bring to Light Omnath going as well, to be honest.
I think we're just digging for lands. We're trying to use the Omnath to stabilize and the Bring to Light to win the game.
Yeah.
And we need the Leyline Binding to stay alive.
Bring to Light Omnath does hit the yard, draws double Fabled Passage, which is still pretty good.
Probably would have liked that Omnath.
Is there only one planes in the deck is going to be the big call here. If there's 2 planes, there's a nice little turn here. 1 planes!
Only one basic planes, so we can...
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we have one of each basic
Yeah.
in the mana base. So
I mean, it seems like you just have to chain the Trespasser, discard, lick your wounds, and just hope there isn't another creature that can attack you.
I mean, we can just bind to the Bankbuster.
Yeah.
And then
I suppose.
Next turn, Bring to Light. Take 3.
That's pretty good too.
And we can Bring to Light for...
Oh.
I mean, Elish Norn. We could just get a Tybalt.
Yeah, get a Tybalt. You can get a one-sided Wrath with the selfless
Glyph Weaver.
Yep.
So you got options. I don't think you have to 2-for-1 yourself here.
Yeah. The one thing you got to do is you got to cast a spell this turn.
Yeah, and we get to buy Gigantha.
You got to cast a spell this turn, though. Otherwise, it goes day to night, which is less than ideal. Okay, so chain the rocks. Yeah, maybe you just discard that Gigantha.
Chain there, pitch the Gigantha. So that'll work.
Gigantha doing its best job here of being pitched to a ward ability. I like that play. That was nice. What did we find here? It's a 3-drop. Continuing to get aggressive.
We just turned ward discard a card into ward 3.
Yeah, not bad. Build your own ward. All right, here is Fable coming around, and Bring to Light can come down. God, yeah, I'm pretty tempted with that Velky line and just get rid of Bone Crusher Giant. That way, at least you have a Bone Crusher Giant available if it gets dealt with.
Yeah. And then you still have a blocker to protect your Tybalt if they draw a creature. Obviously, if they, you don't know they have the Bitter Triumph, so if they draw exactly Blood Tithe Harvester,
yeah,
could get a little. You're still not dead, so they would just attack down your Tybalt, but you'd be in a tough spot at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Just Leyline Binding, carry added in hand. Bind the Bankbuster and play the carry added to block the Bone Crusher.
Not bad as well.
Interesting. So yeah, playing a little cagey. I imagine the carry added will jump in front of this Bone Crusher. We don't want to go to 1 and die to a stomp.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it was Blood Tithe Harvester on the top.
Wow.
I would have gotten punished.
Yeah, 100%. There we go. Bone Crusher Giant. Taking carry added down. Here's a Harvester, and then you got the Bitter Triumph to deal with something. Don't have to now, but that's been a nice addition to the format. Just a great card from Lost Cavern of Ixalan, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always been that debate of like which removal spells they play. At one point, it was like Heartless Act, and Powered Kill. You
Yeah.
know, you could play Dreadbore. You could play the
Mhm.
new Dreadbore, and now it's like everybody just plays Bitter Triumph.
Well, there's still a reason to play Heartless Act. You get to win the game when your opponent casts Archfiend of the Dross. But that's about it. Still can't believe people play that card when that's a removal spell where you can just be like, yeah, that resolves your dead. Like, huh. Well, couldn't have done anything about that.
Unlucky. Um,
Well, I mean, you do have the sickest line available if you knew there wasn't a removal spell where you just go hostage taker, make a copy at end step, and then you get to take both creatures.
yeah, we can't cast the creatures though, so yeah, and of course the Bitter Triumph is up. So
Yeah.
I think you probably have to play around a removal spell in this spot.
I'm just probably wrathing here. Plague Wind you, be on your way. I guess the one bad part about that is Croxa is coming back then. So maybe that's not really doable.
Yeah, there's Bitter Triumph, your only creature, untap Croxy, you take your last card,
Yeah.
go.
That's the one thing about these Bring to Light decks that's not great. This is the one cool thing that you can get, but otherwise the targets just aren't amazing, you know?
Yeah, and now we're sort of in the same spot,
Yeah.
We used our Tybalt, they're gonna kill the reflection, and then the uh harvester gets to either attack Tybalt down, or if they find another Bone Crusher, kill you.
Yeah, but the one thing that is going on is Magic of Player 1 can untap and stomp the Harvester. That's pretty cool, you know? So there's at least that going on. But yeah, Tybalt is just got to die here, I would imagine.
And do you throw this harvester away for a fresh card? Because the Bone Crusher Giant they've already exiled takes care of both harvesters. So it's not
Yeah.
that attractive of a card.
I would, because if it deals with both of them, Croxa just does some damage. Croxa is online with 2. So now, yeah, now I think I'm just stomp, play Crusher, hope for the best.
If they Crocs at you, you can discard the hostage taker and chain it.
Yeah.
And then you're at even basically.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great game.
One issue at this point is that you've already gone through 3 Bring to Lights.
Yeah. I mean, now you just draw the cards that you're trying to bring to light for, like top deck Snore, top deck Omnath. Omnath is probably the best top deck here for going forward. Into a land, gain 4 would put Magic of Player 1 back in the driver's seat.
I would also take the Singleton Escape to the Wilds. That would be a good draw.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Oh, I missed that card. Whew. Remember the brief stint where we had like Lotus Cobra, Omnath, there was Fabled Passage and Standard, like
everybody was casting Genesis Ultimatum.
yeah, oh yeah, and casting it quickly. And then they're like, let's not allow this.
That allows me to cast another one.
Exactly. I think Yorion was pre at that point. Like you could just flash Yorion. Maybe people weren't really playing it as much, but yeah, good stuff was happening. Some tough choices here. The one thing that I think Magic of Player 1 is thinking about here is I can play around a removal spell killing me, which there's a lot of them in this Rakdos deck, by going Chain to the Rocks and Stomp. It's not the flashy play. It looks kind of awkward, but that is the safest play.
Yeah, but just stomping and playing the 4/3 means you're not dead to a removal spell either.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
But they do go for the chain. I guess that's to prevent Croxa, but like, you're not winning anytime soon. This Croxa is going to happen.
And Croxa can still happen here if you have a land, discard it, draw another land. Like, now lands and spells are good. Removal is bad. That's like the only thing. Is that another Ridge?
That's a disaster at that point. Then, Den.
I mean, Den's pretty good.
Yeah.
Den is quite good. There's the Selfless Gia Weaver, which I feel like you never want. So that's to block the Den.
Yeah. And you'll go to 4 and they'll have a 1/1. Not the end of the world.
Or you just bring back Croxa here.
Okay. So Cliff Weaver doing its job, getting discarded to Croxa.
Then Hostage Taker, being the captain here.
It's an awkward hostage.
Yeah. You want that one. You don't want to cast that one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But you got to do it. And Bone Crusher Giant Stomp's not enough to clean out this hostage taker. So do you discard it to the blood? I mean, probably not, right? Feels. I don't know. It is close. But if you hold it in your hand, you can top deck another Bone Crusher to get Croxa. I think it's too good of a card to discard at this point. But it's close.
Yeah. You'd have to be have like a lot of outs to immediately win to want to do something like that.
Yep. Thought sees. Okay. Now do we just play it?
I think so. Because if we played that Bone Crusher, we could then start attacking with just it.
Mm-hmm.
Force a trade with the other Bone Crusher, and then you start attacking with the Den, try to force the trade with the hostage take.
The one thing its Swifty Time is doing here is just like, okay, I'm gonna stomp you in the face, and then if you don't draw and keep a spell in hand, any removal spell is GG with Croxa coming back. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, that is true. You turn what normally would be pretty poor top decks in the late game to some of your best.
Yeah, and I mean, Portable Hole is gonna stay in hand, so that's kind of perfect for Magic of Player 1, to be honest. Like, Omnav's still the best, but drawing something you're not gonna cast and is just here to discard to Croxa is pretty reasonable. I'll just see. Oh,
I must assume that's like a Shieldred because it didn't get cast.
yeah, I suppose.
It's not unreasonable. But now we could attack for 4.
Just 4 and block Den?
Yeah. I would love that play if Swifty was at 8.
Yeah.
But it is not a 2-turn clock.
You need a 2-turn clock.
Kind of horse crap.
All right, so Stomp's face. That makes things a little more complicated.
I still kind of like it because, yeah, if you make this trade with the Den and you can Portable Hold the token.
Yeah. I would attack with Bone Crusher Giant here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not a game that you're going to take full control over. This is a game that you can sneak through with one good top deck.
Yeah.
Especially with that Croxa looming in the graveyard.
Yeah, because eventually that will take over, so the inevitability is actually on its Swifty time.
Get in there.
Hiya.
Enter the Bone Zone.
Bone Zone's been declared. Attack for 4. Swifty down to 5.
Hey, these next 2 top decks probably determine the game.
Like this is maybe a spell.
Worst possible.
Yep. Any land was bad there. How about Mom? Good. Mom's home.
So we can still offer the trade of Bone Crushers without letting Croxa happen, although the Elishnorn stops the Croxa trigger anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah. You just attack for 4, offer the trade, play Elishnorn.
Enter the Bone Zone. The one disadvantage you have there is if you attack with Bone Crusher, I guess if you top deck like Terminate or whatever the type of removal the Rakdos deck has to kill Elishnorn, attacking with the Bone Crusher, you're forced to chump, but then you can just win on the backside. So yeah, I see no reason to not attack. Alrighty.
Magic Player 1 does.
Sweet, yeah. Swifty time just drew bricks afterwards.
Those lands are not very swifty.
That was a very good game, though. That was a really good back and forth game. Yeah. Now Chain to the Rocks.
I'll do it.
It would exile 2 creatures here, which would be kind of cool, but not the case.
Send in the clowns.
All right, there we go. Game number 1 of Magic of Player 1 takes it down. 1 game away from locking up a Sunday finish here. on the Manor Traders final.
Yeah, and a game that really their mana base did not cooperate early. They fell behind, but this version of Rakdos not as aggressive, though they had a pretty aggressive draw. The Bankbuster
Yep.
got in a bunch. The Graveyard Trespasser, you know,
That's the thing that this Rakdos deck can do. Even though, the Rakdos mid-range decks of yesterday, they still could be aggressive. Blood Tithe Harvester into Fable into Shieldred, like that's not your aggressive thing, but it is still very powerful.
okay, taking a look at sideboards, I see on the Rakdos side 3 copies of Duress, that's supplementing one in the main. 2 Damping Sphere, 1 Unlicensed, 1 Abrade, 2 Knight of Dusk's Shadow, 2 Go Blank, 2 Hidetsugu Consumes All, 1 Kolaghan's Command, 1 Alcazat's Deepest Betrayal.
What does that card do, Ross?
It costs 3 black.
It is a Bat God.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a 4 mana or a 5 mana 4/4 flyer. Whenever your opponent sacks a creature, I believe, you get a bat. I don't know. I only saw it cast one time at the regional championship a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Makes them discard cards. When they discard lands, you get some bats. And it comes back as a land that can only transform if their hand is small.
It's a Bat God.
That feels like the kind of card that I'd be happy with in the mirror, but against a deck that is going to be better than me at playing that game,
Yeah.
not interested.
No, Bat God, Bat God.
I want to be more aggressive, but there's not really the tools to do that here. The Duresses will be very good.
Yeah, I think just Duresses and not change your deck too much here and just try to win that way. The other side, are we bringing too much in?
4 Bankbusters on the other side of the board. Those are going to be nice.
Yeah.
2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Dovin's Veto, 1 Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, a Chrome Host Seed Shark. I could see that. Slaughter Games, Giganthic Companion, and a Sunfall. I could also see Sunfall coming in.
All right, so looking at the hands here, both players kept 7. A lot of lands for Magic of Player 1, but you have Fable to kind of fix all your problems at some point. Plus the Chain of the Rocks to have a decent removal spell for the first play. Picked up a Portable Hole as well. As long as that Fable the Mirror Breaker doesn't get taken out of Magic Player 1's hand, I think we're in for a good game. If it does, it could be a little rough.
Yeah. But a solid hand on the other side as well. They're going to have a turn 3 Fable on play.
Did draw the Thoughtseize to actually do it. If they had perfect information like we do, I think this would be an easy Thoughtseize. But if I'm in its Swifty's time, there's not a chance I'm not casting Fable.
Yeah,
not a chance.
Especially with K command that can answer the Goblin Shaman token at value. You really want to Thoughtseize things like you want to Thoughtseize things like Brindleite that are
But yeah, so now this is going to be the turn to Thoughtseize. And the one thing you can do here is Kolaghan's Command, kill the Shaman and Portable Hole to get a nice 2-for-1, attack with the Shaman, and then Thoughtseize. You can do it in the other order too. It doesn't matter too much.
So Thoughtseize first. Maybe you want to do something different with your K command based on the Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
So might as well do that first, figure out your whole play. And yeah, things looking pretty good.
I think that's the play I would do, though. Attack before blocks, deal with those two. You've created a lot of pressure. You've forced your opponent to draw good cards off the Fable, and you've prevented 5 mana from being assembled with Magic Player 1s. But wow, allows the block?
Now we can play this other Fable still. So
all right.
That's a solid follow-up.
All right. That's fair. The only thing you had to do is if there was no blocks, you had to kill that Shaman. You cannot allow discard 2, bring to light, find some goodies. Or Omnath gain 4. Even that's pretty good, but
there is a Bring to Light. That's what Magical Player 1 has been looking for. Pitches Valky in a land. Lands.
Vomit.
We might see that Proving Ground get cycled.
Yeah. All I'm saying is one of these decks looks very, very cohesive. It looks like a lot of streamlined stuff has happened. And the other hand has a janky mana base, and a lot of things have to go right for this payoff of Bring to Light, which isn't even that powerful. I really thought Magic of Player 1 was going to be advantage going into this. I think just Rakdos is just too streamlined and too powerful, and this 5-color Bring to Light deck is a little too inconsistent.
Feels like it's doing very similar things to Enchanties, but worse things.
Just, not as powerful over-the-top things,
Yeah, there's no Atraxa.
Taking all the good elements, or you're taking all the bad elements from Enchanties, and just throwing it into Bring to Life with all your over the top explosiveness.
I just want Traxa.
Trax is a good magic card.
If I'm gonna go over the top of people, I want to do it with Atraxa.
How do you feel about Atraxa?
I think it's quite grand.
Yeah, quite grand. Has been declared. Is a good magic card. And then when you ephemerate, like we saw in the last round of Modern, that's pretty cool too.
We're in the instant here. So looks like could have gone. No, they couldn't have activated the den because they got that last treasure off the attack with the shaman. Yeah, just a bunch of removal in hand for its Swifty time, which is a little awkward because they're advantaged right now. They're ahead, but they don't really have a good way to press that advantage. They discarded the second copy of Bloodtithe Harvester to one of the Fables, and I think they might be regretting that now.
Yeah, might be. But now the one thing that its Swifty time has going on is being able to K command the Reflection and the Portable Hold. That's pretty nice. But yeah, here's the Besager to deal with half of the Fable, but you get a land back. Like, look in the grand scheme of things, how good Fable was there. Like you just dealt with it, which it got you a land to deal with the backside. It still has a Shaman running rampant, and you got card manipulation. Like, Fable the Mirrorbreaker is an incredible magic card.
It's okay.
All right.
I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers.
That's the oldest expression I've ever heard you say. Wow. I'm kicking anyone out of bed for eating crackers in bed, okay? Anyone. My fiance loves eating Cheez-Its in bed. It drives me insane. I'll just wake up and I just look over. And then she'll smile and laugh. And I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank you, Tar. So here is that Bring to Light. Bringing Omnath into play, immediately answered by, for 1 mana, a Fatal Push. No big deal.
And we drew another Omnath, so everything's okay.
And how about an end step K command to blow up your 2 permanents? And I get 1 back. Sound good?
2 non-land permanents.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay, Corey.
For it's Swifty time, I think. Wow. What did you bring back? If it was a Bloodtithe Harvester, I swear to God.
I might have missed it.
It was a Bloodtithe Harvester! Swifty time! What you doing? You could have either had a Bloodtithe Harvester in your hand, option A.
Yeah.
Or a Bloodtithe Harvester in play attacking right now, option B.
If the Harvester was attacking right now, they'd have a 2-turn clock.
Oh, that's the only time there's not 2 clocks.
They don't.
Wow. Is there any reason to do this? That's just a miss, right?
Yeah, I think they just missed the portable hole.
I think that makes sense why they didn't K command that 1 turn. It just looked too juicy. But yeah, here we go. Take the Omnath. I mean, I guess there's 2 Omnaths.
You gotta just take the Bring to Light.
Yeah.
The Omnath, you power word kill it, and they get to see like 3 cards before they die.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get a fetch land.
Pretty good.
Is it? I think you still have to Omnath and gain some life and hope. I mean, otherwise there's just so much damage. Like, think of this. Magic player 9 should be at 9. There should be another creature in play. Then you have to Omnath, Honestly, like, you don't even have to use power word kill. You get to Bloodtithe Harvester and just sack it to deal with Omnath. Ugh, vomit. Yeah. Okay, Bring to Light is the one-sided Wrath, but the creature lands are just going to be a problem at this point, too.
Some powerful cards left over. The Escape and the Bring to Light. We be able to find something to try to get us back into the game.
Okay, so going for the Den attack power word kill play to force through a little bit more damage here. I think this is pretty nice. If it puts Magic of Player 1 down to at least 4, which I don't think it will. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7. Yeah, I think this is reasonable. Bring to Light is going to be okay, but nothing special.
It could be a 1.
Yeah, I mean, this game would be over if that portable hole was not in play right now, for sure. mistakes
Yeah.
were made. Magic's hard. These players are playing a long, long day of 3 formats, looking at 3 different sideboards. It can't be undersold how difficult this stuff is.
Yeah, to make that transition twice in one day.
Yeah,
You and I have played a lot of dual format
dual,
tournaments, and just transitioning once, not too bad. Twice and playing 3 formats in one day. It's just it's a lot of mental strain.
But I like it. These players got here. Maybe being dominant in one specific format, maybe only playing that, but most of the people that we see on these tours, they play them all. This Mana Trader series is so nice, and it's such a nice way to play every single month. Some high level Magic Online, that pays out much better than modern challenges, stuff like that. So a lot of people play these.
Even if you play them all over the course of a given year,
Mhm.
usually you're focusing on 1 or 2 formats over any given month or two,
Yeah.
and you sort of fall behind in the others. And then when it cycles back to where that's relevant for whatever tournaments you're playing, you do another crash course and get back into that format,
Yes.
and you cycle through them. Being on top of your game in all 3, Legacy, Modern, Pioneer, all at once, that's a different can of worms.
Yep. So that's a tough one. So here we go. We see Bring to Light. This is for all the colors, I believe.
I assume this will be
There's
just
Omnath.
interesting.
Oh
So
yeah, did we already lose the one-sided wrath earlier? Maybe we did.
how to chain, is that good enough?
Probably not. So it blocks the den.
And we can only get 5.
Yeah, only 5. All right. We still got a game. That was nice. Needed the chainer. This was game.
Yeah.
Wow, I was lucky.
Chain or a land.
Yeah, I don't know. A land, and you just gain some life and then harvest your copies and deals with Omnath. Here you get to keep Omnath.
Yeah,
So
true.
this was better.
Oh, well, much better in terms of getting back into the game.
Yeah.
But once again, this Bloodtithe Harvester could have been one that's on. It could be the Bloodtithe Harvester that was under the portable hole. It could be on the battlefield. Could have attacked 3 times.
That was a punteroo for sure. But we'll see if it matters. Swifty time is still ahead, but the game has changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Now we get to untap with Omnath on the battlefield and cast Escape to the Wilds.
Yeah.
And from there, anything could happen.
Yep. There we go. Leave some white mana open if you find another chain, and you get to gain some life. There's a chain.
There's a Fable Passage. There's a Bring to Light.
Oh. Ooh. It's Swifty time might be kicking themselves if they watch this back, because I'm guessing they didn't see it in the first place. Didn't go for the Fabled Passage, though, Ross. Oh, you played 2 lands.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're popping off now. Okay, so here's Bring to Light. You can Bring to Light, get something big, and then crack Fable for the plains, and Chain to the Rocks, and deal 4 to your opponent.
We got Elish Norn and then change 2 things.
Get them on that Rocks.
Looks like we're going for the Glyph Weaver.
Okay.
So casting the back half of that, and
yeah, now you can just say go and gain 4 more. That attack's a little aggressive, but I'm here for it.
It doesn't stop the hive. So if you left it back.
True. All right, here goes 1 pathway. And yeah, you got to think that, well, not even think. This game was over if that Colligan's command did the correct modes here.
That was for a clear misstep. And I don't see them coming back into it. This Bone Crusher is not doing enough. Just gonna fire up hive.
Haven't loved this. Haven't loved this. It has not been my our best played game.
Yeah. Even if there's no more life gain off this Omnath, and next turn you can't kill them. You're just drawing straight gas.
Yep.
Get this beanstalk going. That's a 1-0, which is kind of strange.
But yeah, and we're just kind of watching it back on the replay. 7 minutes in the past, the mistake was made. That could have locked it up. Oh, no.
And there's another land, so back up to 11, and this game is now well in hand for Magic of Player 1.
All right, well, we're going to get another game here, and...
Magic of Player 1, 1-game 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Both games look good from the Rakdos side, and then they just kind of slipped away.
Yeah. It's Swifty time is definitely going to be feeling the pain on that one.
This one didn't slip away so much as it was dropped, but
Yeah. Hey, you can drop some slippery passes, I guess, huh? So
yeah,
impressive work there from Magic of Player One. To be fair, Magic of Player One played excellently. You
yeah.
know, we maybe gave some grief to the deck a little bit as it looked a little clunky at times, but there are certain times of the game like it looks incredible. Escape to the Wilds. People forgot about that one. That one still does some damage.
A lot of damage. We got the full 5 cards, and
Yeah,
those 5 cards turned into like 4 more cards and 12 life. And it
did
was
some
just good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Did some stuff. Here's a Fable the Mirror Breaker to cement the position even more, and that's going to be GG. Magic of Player One is going to be our second player into day two, and then
Congrats to them.
after this, let's check out the booth here. Not the booth, excuse me. Let's check out the standings here, Adrian. As we're back to the booth, while you're checking out another match, and let's see some of the players that have well and truly gotten into day number two.
Well, I'm taking a look at it here, and so far it's just Magic of Player One.
Yeah, refresh that, right?
Just did.
Oh, was Magic of Player One actually not? Because you need 18 points, right?
It hasn't. Theirs hasn't updated.
That's what I'm saying. Refresh. All right. So looking at that. Oh, okay. Now it just ended. So yeah, Magic of Player One, the study group took down another match to be 7-0 with Azorius control. And there we go. We refresh on our main page there. There's the two players.
Yeah.
Everybody else still fighting.
Scouter's still playing at 5-1. They could lock up day two with a win. We got some players at 5-2 at this point. We see Lavunga, Victor Carvalho. It's Swifty Time, Reyes, Serum Visions, and NBDF.
Cool.
So a good chunk of 5-2s, and then people at 4-3. We got some 4-2s down here. Yeah.
Excellent.
Some matches still going. We're starting to really thin out this field.
Absolutely. Okay, sounds like we got another backup, or our first backup match, I should say, ready to go. So let's jump on in right after we say hello to our beautiful self, of course. Jumping back, Corey Baumeister, Ross Merriam, going to be bringing you coverage all day. And we're getting close. We're getting close to that cut. It feels really brutal if you get this close and you don't make it. If you play all 9 rounds and you don't make day two, that's the worst possible. Second worst, 0-2 drop. Best getting in there, making it into day two. So, all right, we're ready to go. Let's jump into our backup match for round number 7. Ooh, Enchanties.
Fredo Rock up top with Enchanties playing
Oh,
against
yeah.
Aeolus.
Okay. Enchanties against Red Phoenix. 3 cards in hand, but no graveyard with Rest in Peace in play. Plus the Eidolon limiting the amount of spells being played. Well and truly in favor of Fredo Rock, it looks like.
Now, the Phoenix decks, of course, have some non-Phoenix threats in the sideboard to try to win games like this.
Yeah.
You see a servo token that's indicative of Sahili. There are 2 copies in the sideboard here. There's 2 Crackling Drakes as well, and a young Pyromancer. So a good diversity of threats. They also have a Hall of Storm Giants.
All I know is Yorian's about to come down and completely destroy all of these lines. There's the Bird Serpent. There's an Agent, too, if you want to get that going first. But it's bird time. Get that trigger, even if it gets countered, which, yeah, no counter spell in sight. You get this going. That's an empty Leyline binding. Get that servo out of there. Draw another card. Get another land. Oh, I'm here for this, Ross. I think I know who I want to watch for the next round, and it's going to be all of Fredo Rock here.
We see a Lightning Axe come off the Cantrip here for Alel, but not castable now after the Opt was cast with Eidolon of Rhetoric on the battlefield.
Okay, that's step 1. Axe this Eidolon, but it's just not going to matter. Well, should have blocked there, I suppose, but that's okay. Oh, Leyline Binding didn't get exiled. All right.
Yes, the servo token is not important.
All right, so starting off the turn almost assuredly has to be Lightning Axe. Discard one of your 2 blank cards. Probably Treasure Cruise is more blank. And Galvanic Iteration, even though that is quite bad as well.
Once you kill the Eidolon, the Iteration can, with no graveyard, Iteration Impulse doesn't even kill the Orion. So You can't deal with both threats there.
Yep. And Agent of Treachery can take Hall of the Storm Giants to take a threat. Yeah, and you don't even have enough red to do all of this. It's all
And ALL is way behind on the clock.
bad.
Just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, yeah, this is not great. Ross, you want to double check to see these players' records here? I think they might be X2.
So they are, yes, they are 4-2.
Okay, so this is not an elimination, but this does put ALL up against the wall. Has to go 2-0 to win the last one, and only 1-1 for Fragile Rock to be able to get in. So let's watch this to start the next round. That'll be awesome. One of our most played decks.
I think,
Pretty sweet.
across all three formats, the most played deck was Rakdos Midrange and Modern, Rakdos Scam. And then Enchanties and Pioneers second.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, at this point, we're effectively in garbage time. It's just about dotting the I's and crossing the T's, being a little bit careful. Make sure you don't make any significant blunders that give your opponent a pathway back into this game. And because Fragile Rock is way ahead on clock, they can afford to take a minute or two just to think through all of their plays. Decide to sacrifice Path of the World Tree. Sure. Ooh, I think this might be a concession. Yeah, Fiery Impulse, my token.
Yeah, looking like it. I just don't see any way out of it. And there it is. Fredo Rock comes in with a W here. It was pretty much completely over from the second we started this match. But yeah, still pretty fun. Now we'll get some word from our director. Do we have any more matches to check out? This is probably getting pretty close to the end of the round. Yeah. Okay, doesn't look like we have any. So, a quick thing, couple things before we go. A reminder: we got two more rounds after this to decide what makes it into day number 2, starting tomorrow at noon Eastern time. The record is going to be 6-3 or better to make it in. It does, I believe, go by record as well. So if we don't get 12 players, I think it is the people with the lowest record. Don't quote me on that. We'll get some confirmation from our director here during the break on that. But if you want to get involved in the Mana Trader series, next month we do have our February series, which is going to be Pioneer, which is a format you're seeing right now. If you want to play these Enchanties decks, I want to play the Enchanties decks. I think it looks way too fun.
Yeah, that's a Corey special if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I'm not commentating, I'm playing in it. That's for sure. So you can use !Bash Bros in the chat. That'll give you the code for 15% off your first 2 months if you want to start getting ready for the qualifier rounds, which will be starting sometime early February to start queuing up for the end of the month event, which date still be determined, looking like around the February 17th mark. But we'll get that confirmed. Keep an eye on Mana Trader's Twitter to get all the updates there. So make sure to follow them on that. So, all right, that's going to do it for this round. We're going to take ourselves a short break, and we'll be right back with round number 8 here of the Mana Traders Finals. See you in a sec. All right, everybody, welcome back here to the Mana Traders Series Final. My name is Corey Baumeister. That is Ross Merriam, and we're going to be getting you ready for round 8 out of 9. So, this is coming down to it. These players are at the spot where they either need to 2-0 to make it in, 1-1 to make it in for some of our players at the top of the standings. And bricking at this stage of the tournament, when you get this close, ends up being quite frustrating. So, players are getting ready right now, and we're going to be getting into it. But, Ross, any big deck that's been a standout so far in Pioneer? I know we kind of just got it started, but any deck look really good to you or something that you would play?
I think the Enchantress deck is sort of the breakout deck of the event, even though
Yep.
it's not necessarily my style. Super popular, and what little of it we've seen thus far, it is doing well.
Okay.
And I think I was not a fan of the Rakdos. We saw a version of Rakdos that wasn't on Copter.
Yep.
And it's like the more aggressive versions of that deck.
Who would have guessed Ross likes Smuggler's Copter over Bankbuster? More news at 11. Sounds like we are ready for round number 8, though, so let's jump on in and see what player is playing their winning in. Holy cow, it's Mateus Leverato. He came back to a really impressive record here of X&2 after we saw immediately started 0-1 after that Doomsday pile, and is now playing by far his favorite deck. And all he has to do is go 1-1 to make it in. Qualified through I believe the regional championships not too long ago to get to one of the pro tours and is just a master of this deck. So here we go. Mateus Leverado on the bottom, up against Serum Vision up top, playing Boros Heroic. And starting with Witch's Oven has a plenty good hand. You have the oven, you have the cat, Mayhem Devil, just needs the time to deploy this all. But up against Heroic's really fast start. How do you think this matchup plays out, Ross? This is an interesting one.
So normally Rakdos Sacrifice really likes playing against creatures.
Yeah, yeah. This is a little bit of a different one, though.
Yeah. So they would prefer to play against a go wide creature deck because that's where Mayhem Devil is at its best.
Yep.
Forest Heroic is a go tall creature deck. It's going to make one really big threat, protect it, and then, kill you with it. And that ends up being a lot better against spot removal and Mayhem Devil than the go wide strategies.
Yep.
I'd still give the edge to the Rakdos Sacrifice deck. I just think piles of cheap interaction are going to be good against the Boros deck, but it is scarier than some of the other aggro decks in the format.
So here's a big choice. Do you Thoughtseize or do you play Witch's Oven #2? I think I would lean on Thoughtseizing.
Definitely. Ooh,
to be able to get Reckless Rage out of there to clear up for Mayhem Devil, right?
Yeah, I would have leaned Thoughtseize as well.
Yeah, we would have got punished because they just would have drew Reckless Rage anyways. So if I'm not going to question anyone's Rakdos sack ability here, as there's 3 people I look that dominate with this deck. It's Mateus Leverado, Luis Salvato, and Logan Nettles. Those are the 3 rack sack players that I look at when I see a dominant performance with the deck.
Okay, well, we get to soak up the Swift Spear here. Can loop it again with the second oven. Probably want to leave it in the graveyard on the end step rather than bringing it back immediately. That allows you to get one more Mayhem Devil trigger at the expense of the Cauldron Familiar not being able to attack. It's not going to be attacking.
Meat Hook Massacre. That's an interesting one for next turn if you get another land. But yeah, even with the Reckless Rage dealing with this possible Mayhem Devil, you still just get so many triggers off the card before it dies. It'll be interesting now if Mateus wants to take it a little slow and Thoughtseize first and play a Blood Crypt tapped. That's another option. What would you do here? With perfect information, I'm firing off Thoughtseize, but with not having perfect information, it's tempting to do either.
Yeah, it is very tempting. So if your opponent doesn't have the Reckless Rage,
Yeah,
then you really, get to go off. But look how slow they played it. It very, very much looks based on their sequence that they have the
yeah.
Reckless
Like what
Rage.
else do they have? You know?
God's Welling is also tricky,
Yeah, I wonder what you
especially
take.
when they have 2 Reckless Rages. So
Yeah,
maybe you take that.
I'm probably taking God's Willing because Reckless Rage is going to target and deal with Mayhem Devil, but then you just get to start pinging down at least one creature, and then you're fine. If you got a cat and you just got to beat one creature, you can just chump block that forever. Takes the only card I would not have expected.
Well, must be thinking I can beat the rest. I don't
Yeah.
want you drawing more cards. Now, just a Battlefield Forge, and do we see a Giganta get purchased? That would be a little awkward because you couldn't Reckless Rage Mayhem Devil plus God's Willing as protection.
So here is the cat.
So this will soak up one attacker.
Yeah, and I mean, you just sack it to the oven and say, yeah, do your worst, but
Yeah, without the Defiant Strike, the cat basically blanks all these attacks. We haven't really.
That basically does, and even gains life out of it, you know? So we're probably going to see just a purchase of the elk. And here we go, get some cat stuff going. But it's going to be Mayhem Devil time. Or maybe just Meat Hook if you draw land. That's pretty tempting as well. Less tempting because God's Willing protects both.
Yeah.
Or do you want to play it nice and slow? Just play another oven.
It looks like he's just playing the Meat Hook for 0 and then playing the oven. Now we're just going to start triggering the Meat Hook.
This is a true aptly named massacre we're watching here with Mateus Leverado. Mateus Leverado has made a lot of plays that we did not suggest, and it just really shows the mastery of him with this deck, just playing at a very high level.
Yeah, he just realized that he wasn't really under much stress.
Yeah.
We sort of thought he was under more stress than he was, but he's only under that stress if he played it the way that we had suggested.
Yep. 100%.
Okay, Divine Strike is a very good draw.
Good start. Now you want to find Ancestral Angers. That's probably the best card that you can find. But all right, there's another threat.
It's one that dies pretty easily to Mayhem Devil.
True.
So, but once again, the cat just soaks all of this up.
The cat is back.
Oh, now it blocks. Now it's gone.
Yep. What's going to happen after that?
I think it'll come back.
Okay.
Then it'll go away.
It can't be coming back again, though,
It'll
right?
come back.
Oh, it comes back again. Interesting. Then it'll probably go away, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But guess what? Then it'll come back.
Ah. That's a nice play. If only there was a way to then get rid of it once again.
Let's not go that far.
All right, there we go. Now this is a you lose two, Leverado gains one type play with the Meat Hook Massacre and these ovens in play. And I just say let them cook.
And
Got to be a little wary about this Mayhem Devil and the timing of it, though, right? You're definitely playing Mayhem Devil, but if you just go to sacrifice now,
I think they're just dead. Because each witch's oven represents 2 damage, right?
yeah,
This initial sack of the food is a 7th point and an 8th point because the familiar comes back and you sack the food, and it costs them a point to use the battlefield forge.
yeah. But
So
here's
they,
the thing:
if they
is
interact, they take 9.
if you sack the food right here with that ability on the stack, then you reckless rage
Yeah.
Mayhem Devil.
You just need the 1 Mayhem Devil trigger at that point.
Oh, sure.
So they're at 9. They take 1 from the Mayhem Devil trigger. They
Yep.
take 1 from casting the Reckless Rage. That puts them to 7. Then the familiar comes back. It puts them to 6. They also lose 1 when the Mayhem Devil dies. That puts them to 5. And then each witch's oven is 2 more.
All right, easy game.
Yeah, this is just lethal.
Goes for the creature
Through
though.
all the interaction. You just get to let this resolve.
Well, you want to sack it to an oven, right?
No, because then you don't get to loop the cat.
Okay. Alrighty.
Though I don't think that matters. I think if you lose that point, you're still lethal.
Yeah, still doing all right here.
This is just game. Lunga navigated this beautifully.
100%. See if you want to do anything about sacrificing this. Thinking about all the lines here, and yep, you're right. Let's it die. There's that point at that. Here comes the cat. 6. Sack it to 5. Bring it back to 4. Sack it to 3. Bring it back to 2. Sack it to 1. Bring it back to 0. Yeah, that's what I'm counting as well.
Hey.
Yeah, Rakdos sack. One heck of a deck.
Lunga sent the point from the Mayhem Devil trigger at the Virtuoso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one extra point, you know? So could have actually been at -1. And the one thing about Rakdos sack, the one reason we've been seeing a lot less of it is apparently the Amalia matchup is just awful. It's just like extremely bad, like 90-10 bad, you know? But if you don't play a lot of it, the deck dies down a bit. Why not play your pet deck again? And the other thing is, Pioneer is not one of these formats where it's like, oh, it's going to be 25%, 30%. I know we did actually get something that was pretty close, but I feel like that's pretty, outlandish. Most of the time, Pioneer is a lot of like 12%, 12%, 6%, a lot more spread out.
Yeah, this does not seem like a great metagame for Lavunga.
Yeah.
The Enchanties deck, your Phoenix matchup is not great.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of Amalia around. You're good against the other Rakdos decks. You're good against the creature decks. Got the creature deck pairing this round, so that's excellent. Is going to need, I guess, winning this one will put him into day 2. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that'll be all he needs. But tomorrow might be a tough day unless he can ride it out in the winner's bracket playing Modern.
Yep, we will see. We will see. Has to win this first to get to Modern tomorrow. Now, as far as the Boros heroic deck, what do you bring in?
So, from the Boros side, usually they have Showdown of the Scalds for matchup like this, and I see three. That's good. Also has two copies of Hazard the Fervent, so it could go really big with 5 4 drops.
Yep.
Has two Get Lost, a Rending Volley, three Lauren's Escape, and three Flowstone Infusion.
Interesting.
These are great because Flowstone Infusion doesn't deal with Mayhem Devil. So,
I want to just talk about Flowstone Infusion though. That's spicy. Not only is it a
yeah,
removal spell for like the
yeah,
common cards like
sometimes it's a pump
Reflection,
spell.
but it's also a pretty good pump spell in this deck with all your prowess cards.
Yeah.
That's a nice, some nice duality there.
I like the Lauren's Escapes. The extra protection should be important in this matchup. So I
Yeah.
would imagine those come in as well.
Okay.
Not sold on Get Lost. There's so few cards you want to target with spot removal in this
Yeah,
matchup.
that's one of the decks you don't want to change much to is this heroic deck. Same
Yeah.
with Phoenix. I don't love changing a lot of things. Like you really take away the core of your deck, but sometimes you have to. So getting into the game here, our Serum Vision hand looks pretty good. Lavinga had a very close one. I agree with the mulligan there. It didn't do anything till turn 3. Ships that. That hand looks much better.
Yeah. Has the Torch the Tower. That came in out of the sideboard. So just bringing in extra removal for this matchup, becoming more of a control deck. Yeah, looks to have a pretty solid hand here. Might
Gotta
want to
put
get rid
one
of the
back.
oven. You always want to have the oven, so when you draw the cat, you start doing things.
Yeah,
But
it's either that or the Meat Hook Massacre, but that can just be a blowout at some point. And this feels like the type of hand that you really do want it. I would guess it's between Witch's Oven, Meat Hook, or maybe the Sokensen. But
it goes with you for the meat hook.
yeah, okay, gets that going. I will see what we choose for turn 1. As we know, now it's an easy oven. I feel now it's an easy bake oven here for turn 1. And then you have
Yeah.
claim available plus torch the tower. So if we do see something like a 10th district legionnaire, you have a pretty clean turn next turn of kill both creatures for 2
Yeah.
mana.
And if you're Serum Visions, it feels pretty natural to just play the 10th District Legionnaire, attack for 3, and then you've got your pump spell set up for the following turn.
Yeah.
The double removal would be killer.
Yeah. I mean, there is some thought to just go Defiant Strike Monster Rage on this and just start jamming. That is the other option. I think it's totally reasonable. I think either play is fine here. And we know the perfect information. This play is much better. And now can't play favorite hoplite, I guess. So I think I'm jamming.
Yeah, if this is the line we took, you just follow through with it.
Hmm.
But instead, just gets in for 3.
Interesting. Okay. And we'll see if there's anything that wants to be done about this. With such a chill turn, I wouldn't be too shocked to see Blood Tithe Harvester deployed here.
Same. You're going to give me the time to deploy some threats and not be behind the 8 ball right from the start.
Yeah,
I will take advantage of that time.
exactly. Just this kind of this deck to me is really about like, okay, do I have the time to make a nice relaxed play from the sacrifice side? If so, do it. And then all of a sudden you make one play where you just completely swing the door open on any given game where you are taking a creature, attacking, throwing it in an oven, maybe getting some mayhem devil triggers, and you really just get to do some over the top things.
Now those harvesters, represent removal spells that
Yeah.
Serum Visions has to consider when making their own plays. So, like for example, you could just play Sacred Foundry, play the 2 creatures, attack with 10th District Legionnaire. Maybe Lavunga wants to trade, maybe they don't. But we see the hand; they can untap and deal with all 3 creatures.
Yep.
Claim the Firstborn, Torch the Tower, and the Harvester.
I would
Just
think
trade
the
1 for
way
1.
Serum Vision has been playing that we're not going to see creature. We're probably going to see one creature spell or I mean honestly probably one creature attack with both play one of the spells because the one thing you really wanted is the God's Willing, but without having God's Willing here, I think you just got to deal some damage here. Monstrous Rage is a pretty nice play
Yeah,
on this.
Rage is excellent here because you're going to trample over for a bunch of damage, and you
Yeah.
won't lose your creature. You'll get a scry off of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get a counter. That'll make it a 3/3. Then it'll get +2 plus.
It becomes a 6/4.
Yeah, 5/3.
Right?
Then
Yeah.
then the roll gives it another 1. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're going to get in for 6 here. That's pretty solid.
Pretty good. Yeah. Got a 10.
That actually makes this a lot better. So Lavunga can then just deal with both creatures if that's what they want to do. They can also go for uh, claim plus harvester and just present a blocker, use their mana a little more effectively.
Lots of options.
Yeah, I
Ooh, that makes things a little better. Now I'm probably just killing creatures.
same.
And the harvester is kind of tempting too, but you could just die. If you don't live up removal here, I'm probably just going towards the tower on that. Blood Crypt tapped, say go. Get 2 foods, which is nice.
Yeah, and then you still have Fatal Push and Harvester back. Great leftovers.
If you want to play extra safe, you take 2 from the Blood Crypt, torch this, and then be on your way. But I think you're telegraphing your play quite a bit. And taking the 2 damage, you're probably only taking 2 or 3 anyways. So I like the tapped here. Ancestral Anger is a great draw. If there was another threat. Now I think you're priced into either just buying Gigantha and doing that, or favorite hoplite buy
Okay.
Gigantha, but then you don't have untapped land.
The Gigantha looks pretty nice here. Can't get Fatal Pushed. You also then will have land 5 and can start activating Den.
Yeah.
That's 2 significant threats that Lavunga has to be aware of and answer.
Yeah, and only 2 blood tokens available, so unable to kill it that way. And those were pretty much bricks.
Yeah, Claim is not going to answer either of those either.
But Blood Tithe Harvester, get some bloods, discard some cards, find an answer to Gigantha. But there's not a lot of answers to Gigantha in this deck.
Really nice navigation of this game from Serum Visions.
Agreed, yeah.
We watched a nice navigation last game from Lavunga, and this one has been really good.
Serum Vision is a great player. Absolute great player.
This was a very problematic hand, a lot of cheap interaction. Serum Visions kept putting Lavunga into tight spots, making them use the removal when they wanted to, and now, has set up some threats that Lavunga does not have any clean answers to.
Oof. Blood Crypt off the top. Not what you want to see. Start discarding. Cat.
So that will contain Gigantha.
Yeah.
And the Harvester can trade for the Den.
Yep, true. Now, the fact that you can Ancestral Anger the Gigantha for trample over the cat is pretty big, and you can God's Willing through the cat. So, I mean, that could be the 1-2 punch to get Gigantha to hit. Yeah, also, you could God's Willing like the Den and Ancestral Anger the Gigantha. Now, we don't have the kind of mana for that, but
yeah, the Ancestral Anger here is huge.
Yeah. That's just the best card in the deck. Yeah. It really is.
We saw last game how Cat Oven really stymied the aggression.
Didn't play Cauldron Familiar. Huh.
Oh, we can discard it to the blood and we already have a food.
Oh, sure. That makes sense. Okay.
Surprise Cat.
Sneak attack.
Once again,
cat.
Lunga knows his deck better than we do.
Yeah. All right, here's Showdown on the Scald.
This is a good draw.
This is one of my favorite Magic cards ever printed. I love Showdown on the Scald. Okay. You ever paired that with Yorion?
Yeah, Reckless Rage,
Monstrous Rage,
Swift Spear,
and a Virtuoso.
Okay,
so that's gassers.
Wanted a land.
Okay, so this cat sneak attack, this sneak cat is going to be quite the nice play here. God's Willing will be an option, but no way we're casting it.
No, we just Monstrous Rage.
Yeah. If you want to go for it, what kind of removal spells are there that could blow you out in response? We know that would be a great play.
There's a Bitter Triumph in the sideboard, and that's it.
Okay. Then you just jam.
Yeah.
Gigantha's basically unkillable.
Would kill a poor friendly elk.
That sounds like the flavor text of Oko. All right. Looks like Serum Vision's probably doing exactly that. What blows me out here, and as long as we're seeing the same thing, it's one sideboard card. So yeah, jam. I like it.
Just tabbing over to the deck list.
Serum Vision has played this quite well. Obviously, Lavunga too. This has been impressive showing from
Yeah,
two masters of their decks.
and it shows you why this version of an aggressive deck is a little bit better in this matchup than others because they have a way to line up your removal against their threats where it ends up okay for them.
Yep, 100%.
You know, the sorcery speed removal, the restrictions on them, Gigantic Companion have all come up importantly in this matchup. It's not just point and shoot one removal spell to one creature over and over again until you have nothing.
Yep, 100% agreed. And going to end step here, deciding to bring back the cat or not now. I don't really see any reason to, unless you're trying to get aggressive here. That's one thing we got to look at. Serum Vision goes to 9, attack down to 5. Is a top deck Mayhem Devil lethal? Or better yet, Blood Tithe Harvester, you can claim it.
Give it haste.
Yeah, I think it's still Mayhem Devil would be lethal, but let's see. Oh my god! That's Mayhem Devil. That is for sure lethal. You can claim your own Mayhem Devil and then get the cat oven stuff going. Mateus Leverato locking up day 2 already with a top deck sent from the heavens. Here comes 7 damage down to 2. Cat Oven is going to make this well and truly lethal.
Yeah, would have been one short with what he had already, just using the harvester of claim on a second harvester. You attack for 7 and you get 1 damage in with the oven loop.
But could you have fatal pushed your own cat? Probably not, right?
No, well, we didn't have another food to make that work. So needed to find a devil, another oven, or another cat.
Wow. Impressive stuff. That was a sweet match. I know that was only 2 games, but true masters of their craft. And Mateus Leverato with a spicy draw off the top. Got to give that man credit. So, sounds like we do have a backup match already ready to go. So, no breaks allowed for you. We're jumping on in. All right, what do we got here, Ross?
Yeah, must be nice on more Rex. Is that no? That's
probably just rack mid range, I would imagine, but could be both.
And then NBDL on Greasefang.
Getting greasy. Okay, interesting. Getting greasy.
So NBDF is one of our 5-2s. Yeah, these are 2 5-2s. They are also playing for a spot tomorrow. And typically this matchup has been good for Greasefang. Cards like Ezeka's Chariot are excellent in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're able to play that kind of grindy game, especially in the post-cyber games, once the Rakdos deck brings in some graveyard hate for the Greasefang game plan.
Yep.
And you sort of have naturally good answers to things like Copter. You can play like Abrupt Decay. Witherbloom Command is 2 or less, so that hits Copter as well, but it's non-creature.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta tag it when they don't have a creature to crew it.
Yeah. This is one deck I think, I don't know if I've ever liked Greasefang, but I think it's truly gotten a little bit worse too. I just never like these decks where, yeah, the ceiling is super high, but even when you get that high ceiling, you don't win the game on the spot, so you give your opponent another chance. And, you know, there's just so much to interact. Like, look at this. I mean, Fatal Push on a Treasure is going to stop this Greasefang thing from happening. There's also 4 Greasefangs in hand. That is a greasy, greasy, greasy gamer right there.
You got to clean out those traps.
Yeah, no kidding. Now you just say, all right, wait a minute. Oh, I was like, I thought we clicked through. I was like, I wouldn't recommend doing that.
You can Fatal Push with the trigger on the stack, and then the vehicle will go back to their hand if they don't have anything else to crew with.
Yeah, there's an Ezeka's Chariot in the graveyard, so they could they could target that. Yeah, or Sky Sovereign.
If they're targeting Parhelion,
if that's the only target,
you could try to strand the Parhelion in their hand.
That's a good point. But now Go Blank wins the game, huh?
Yeah, against that hand. They can mill with Witherbloom Command and
yeah. But even that, there's still land or treasure Fatal Push to do it again.
Yeah, and you're on a 2-turn clock, so there's not enough time here to really grind through all of this interaction.
Yeah, and what's the record on these players? Is this a winning in, or is this?
Yeah, they're 5-2s, so they're playing for a spot tomorrow.
Wow. So must be nice on the verge as long as this is truly game 3.
Loser, loser of this match will have a straight winning in, losing out next round.
Oh, 5-2 into 5-4 is the train wreck scenario. We've both done it plenty of times, and it's not fun. There's Go Blank. So all and truly lock up this game here. I mean, you just discard 2 Grease Things, you keep Witherbloom command, land,
Grease Fang, yeah,
and Grease
just
Fang, and
try
you
to hit.
hope. But even that, Parhelion 2, I don't even think gets there.
Well, the Witherbloom command can both mill and destroy the copter. And then you
Okay.
play the Grease Fang, you attack for 13, you make 2 angels. Now you have 2 blockers against 3 attackers, and you're only going to 3. Do the mana confluence will put you to 3,
Yeah.
but you can tap the brush land for colorless. So you should be able to survive at exactly 1.
But the Fatal Push will be the big slap in the face, even if NBD gets lucky.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of want to see them get lucky here just because. But let's
Yeah.
see.
I mean, they had to have been up all night for a reason.
Yeah. Very nice. All right, we'll see if it's there for the extra rubbins.
Not going to be good enough.
The still had all this push.
Then just Shieldred, which would be lethal regardless. Actually, yeah, even if you didn't have the Fatal Push, the Shieldred would be enough. Because
Yeah.
you're going to attack NBDF down to 1, and you just play Shieldred and they die on their doorstep.
Yeah, and there's no way to interact with that. So, yep, it's all but over. But just going to see if the luck occurs. Now, is thought if we hit Azeka's Chariot? Yeah, still Greasefang hits it. Right, here we go. For the fun of it. It's there too. Oh no. Poor NBD. Oh. The daggers.
You only hit it when they have you covered already.
Yes. And here it is. I have responses before you go to combat. And there's the Fatal Push to wrap this up here for Must Be Nice. Gonna be our next player in. That's Lavunga. That's Magic of Player 1. That's Fragile Rock that took it down with Enigmatic Fires. And, of course, the King of the Hill here, Johnny Gutman, up top, dominating this event. Wow, that was some nice stuff.
It was very well played Magic,
Yeah.
especially in that Boros Heroic against Rakdos Sacrifice match.
Agreed.
And looking at the standings, I think we're going to have some well played Magic in the last round, too.
Yes.
Scouter TF2, and Gob, and Seer Visions all stumbling a bit late. All 3 of them are 5-3, so they have still some work left to do if they want to make the second day of competition here.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it sounds like we have one more backup feature match here of round number 8 before we get to all that action. So let's check it out and see what we got going on here. It's Swifty time up against our tournament leader, Johnny Gutman.
Yeah, Swifty time is a 5-2. Gutman is so far ahead of the field, getting paired against 5-2s.
Johnny Gutman's just having fun with it. Now, the one thing I do want to say is, like, it's not that situation once you get to 6 wins, you're just in and there's no incentives. There is incentives. If you are the number 1 seed, you will be getting a bye, or it'll be structured in some way that it's advantageous to you. So Johnny Gutman is playing for something. He's not just dream crushing. Even if he was, that's his right to do so. And no problem.
Thing.
Ain't no thing. So here we go. Yorion coming in, a sad Yorion, as I like to say.
We could blink that temporary lockdown. It won't do much.
Yeah. And here's the Hollowed Fountain. Both players pretty much out of resources. It's Swifty time. We just saw in the last match have that kind of big blunder to not be going to game 3 up against that Enigmatic Fires deck, but is able to play a win in here if we can win this game, if we are indeed in game 3.
And with this matchup, they might not be. They could be in game 1.
Yeah, easily could be. Yeah, we're unconfirmed on the game, but we do have the hand on the wrong side. We'll put that one down to the Rakdos gamer. And pretty irrelevant cards there. So just top decking here. There's a Hall. We got Hall and Castle doing some decent stuff.
Keep in mind, it's Swifty time. Playing the slower, more traditional version of Rakdos midrange does have 2 copies of Inti, but no copters.
Okay. Interesting. Right there is a couple gluttons. End step. You could make a third glutton to get in there, plus a hive. 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 damage forced through. Still pretty good.
Oh, they can attack with the original Glutton too and force through 11. But
That's still only 7 because you have the
oh yeah,
castle
the
to block.
castle, sure, or the or so many utility lands.
I guess you do have Fatal Push as well to push through 11.
We don't have the mana to do all of that. Oh no, yeah, we
Yeah, we
can
do,
make a
right?
we can make a land drop.
But you'll lose the Graveyard Glutton.
Yeah, that's the.
I think this would be a not great attack. I'm fine with attacking with the 2 copies and playing a land and Fatal Pushing the castle, but I would not attack with that OG Glutton. I think that puts you in a actual losing spot here. Kill that. That blocks 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. 11 is not 12. Double check my math on that, Ross, but.
Yeah, so well, that's that, and then 12 is that, and different things are different. That's how things work.
Oh, yeah.
That's how difference works. So,
Okay, so
yeah,
that's correct, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yep. Okay, so I would not recommend attacking that. I would think just 2 gluttons and the hive to force through 7. But I think there's some world where I wouldn't have even copied the glutton. No, I would have. I would have gotten in there, but that's what I would do right now is attack with the 2 copies plus the hive.
So if you do attack with everything and push, they eat the original glutton. They go to 1, and then you have a 2/2 and a 3/3 menace, and they have a Yorion and their lands.
Yeah. But
They would need 3 blockers.
which you could do
Okay.
with a land.
Yeah.
Castle plus the
They would
land.
need an untapped land that doesn't cause them any pain.
Or God forbid you top deck Get Lost or something, and then the game's
Yeah.
just over, you know?
They wouldn't do that to me. They wouldn't top deck a
No.
spell.
That'd be rude.
So you can also, if they top deck a removal spell, you can thought seize it out of their hand before activating the hive.
That's a good point.
And they can't use it on the glutton because of ward.
That I like. Okay. But I would kill this.
Yeah, that I. Okay. Saving the fatal push, I guess really want to answer either the restless anchorage or the hall.
Okay.
It's going to take us 2 more turns to set up another attack like that with the reflection.
Memory Deluge is a draw. A draw. Pretty good.
It's okay.
All right. Time to get delusional. See what we got. Couple cards. This is probably the list that Daniel won the RC. Daniel Weiser, I want to say is his last name. I could be wrong on that.
See what they can find. This is a big turn down because the defenses are a bit down. We can't activate castle. We can fire up the anchorage, but that'll just get pushed. So probably need to.
It is just a 0. Is it a 0 mana creature when it gets animated? It is, right? Okay.
Mana value is indicated in the upper right. When there's nothing there, mana value is 0.
Okay. It's been a long day. My brain's shutting down. Got deluge.
Don't worry. We'll get you a nice juice box.
A nice juice box, a nap. Yeah, we'll be sad. All right. So Field of Ruin. Pretty big draw.
We can't field plus verdict. That would be great.
Take everything. But in the meantime, still a pretty solid play. Can't field plus blocker, so only has the Yorion as a blocker.
Wouldn't have minded firing off the verdict, to be honest, just because this can happen.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize can take the verdict, can't take the field, and you can afford to take 3 more damage. You go to 6.
Yeah. So it's not quite lethal yet, but we're very close. I guess it's just hive attack, blood crypt take 2, say go, do the glutton trick again. Hive meets the field, but at least you get that out of the way, and then you can do the glutton stuff.
The glutton stuff isn't Great without the
Yeah, you
hive.
could just cast Fable here instead of trying to do the Hive. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I would not. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I think Fable is probably better here.
There's no point in activating the hive. Your opponent has nothing else to do with their mana. I
Oh,
guess
they
if
can
you play
castle.
hive, they get to make a token. Blocks the fable token.
So have we played a land this turn?
No.
Okay. So you could go animate the Hive and then play Fable, but not get Glutton. I think you just don't cast the Blood Crypt so you can discard. Play Fable, say go. Be on your way.
Now,
Mm.
one thing to note: if you do play the fable, we are going to go back to day because that's two spells you already thought seized.
Yeah, and one other thing to note is attacking with the Glutton, even the copied Glutton, is actually good because there's a Memory Deluge in the graveyard you can exile.
Yeah, so,
There are a lot of layers on this turn.
so maybe we want to shock, fire up the hive, hand him make a copy.
I'm still just playing Fable and saying go because if they use their entire turn to go down to 2 mana to flashback a deluge, they have to find something like Get Lost, and then can they beat the rest of my battlefield? I don't know.
Well, they're already going to deal with the hive on the end step, so that's not a problem. If you
Yeah.
play the fable, then you're going to have, I guess you'd have 5 attackers. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm just going Fable, say go. I'll discard Blood Crypt, maybe Fatal Push, depending on the situation, and go from there. Tough turn though, for sure.
Yeah, I do like 5 attackers. That's a lot.
It's pretty
That's
good.
a lot of
It's
attackers.
pretty good.
They all have at least
Pretty
2
good.
power, which means you're attacking for at least 10 power,
Yep.
and your opponent's at 9.
Plus, you got the glutton and stuff, not really eating anything value. Here we go. Fable on the stack.
Getting ready to go back to day.
Oh, okay. Are we going to attack with both is the real question. I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I don't think you can lose the glutton. But we are losing time. Once they get to the point where they can start activating castle plus interacting or activating the anchorage, things get really tricky.
Yep. Easy block here. Makes the token.
Cheaper than using field, so will be mana efficient.
There is a get lost. That's
Yeah.
got to be pretty good.
Who needed memory deluge anyway? It was just on top of our
Yeah,
deck.
exactly. Now we can do a lot of stuff with our creature lands. You can even not even field if you don't have to. You know, you don't really need to. You can fire up a hall and get lost.
And now I like things for Gutman.
Yeah. Oh, this would be a wild one to win. Gutman reminder to everyone is, well, what, 7-0?
Yep.
7-0 already. No big deal.
Unclear exactly what game it is, but Swifty is behind on clock, 7.5 minutes to 10. So if they have to go to a game 3, it'll be harder for the Rakdos player.
Like you said, it still could be game 1. Who knows?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a duress yet to show me that they've sideboarded.
It does say turn 11. I would guess it hasn't taken them 18 minutes to play 11 turns.
Sure, yeah. It could be game 2, more than likely game 3. But this has been a great match so far. As they're thinking, we'll get an update from Ross here. Any other new players jump into the day 2, or is it just our 5?
Just the 4 actually. Oh yeah, they already locked it before. Yeah, just the 5.
Yeah, Magic of Player 1 must be nice. Frado Rock. Johnny Gutman. Wow, look at this, Ross. Yorian getting in there. What?
That's a bad sign if you're Swifty.
Yeah.
That means Gutman has tracked out the next, turns and realizes that it doesn't even really need the Orient to maintain stability
holy
here.
cow. I don't know if I agree with that, though. That seemed a little aggressive.
So they have enough mana here to make another token with Castle, use the field, and cast Get Lost.
Okay.
A little surprised they wouldn't just get lost immediately on the reflection, because that making another glutton is
Yeah, I guess you'd get to use the stuff that Get Lost makes at end step.
yeah.
Can't get
Well,
lost the glutton.
well, keeping the get lost also is very good against the top deck Shieldred. So
If it
works for
doesn't have to
Gutman.
be cast immediately.
One thing to note: Swifty has to be a little careful. You can't go super aggressive because Hall plus Yorion plus a castle token could just end
Is
the game.
12. That's what I think Gutman was really looking towards, was that ability to just actually swing back for lethal next turn if there was an aggressive attack like this. So see if Johnny has this all sewed up. And as I see, blocking a Hall, well, I guess you can kill that with Fatal Push, huh?
Yeah. Well, they could. We could animate Anchorage, see if there's a removal spell. There is. Then use the castle. They could field end castle with that.
Yeah, I like
Not quite.
going for the Hall. I think I almost would have liked the Anchorage better and just block the Shaman.
The Hall here. This gets fatal pushed. You can just pay for the ward. And if I'm Swifty, I'm very happy to push the Hall. This is the dream target.
Now you won't be able to cast Shieldred this turn, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, we can still cast the Bankbuster. It's a solid one.
Okay. And no chance of lethal coming back. So yeah, I think that attack ended up being far too aggressive here from Johnny.
Well, I think the attack combined with animating Hall, when Hall was
Yeah.
not safe to animate, I would have much rather seen an activation of Castle or Anchorage plus the Get Lost if we're going to get aggressive, because that's the safer play on the opposing turn.
Yeah.
So we just got entirely too aggressive. We pushed the aggression way too far.
But I like the line of it. You know, the numbers did add up to a nice clean lethal here if its Swifty time didn't have that fatal push. As it stands, we're just playing some magic here, but definitely got to put the advantage far back into its Swifty time.
That is for sure. Now you're staring down 4 attackers next turn, but you have answers to 3 of them between Field of Ruin, Get Lost, and Yorion. And then you can chump block the other one with the castle.
Yep.
Problem becomes the Bankbuster being crewed by something else that gets cast, say that Shieldred, instead of animating the Hive, and now your Field of Ruin doesn't count as a piece of interaction.
Yeah, Shieldred might be dead, but it's already crewed. Self-driving Bankbuster here.
Player's getting pretty low on the clock. Still unsure if this is game 3, but
Does lead me to believe this is game 3 then.
They seem to be playing like it.
They're slowing down and accepting this fate.
Magic of Player 1 still playing.
Okay.
6-1.
Already locked it up though, huh?
Yeah. They must be playing against Carvalho.
That would make sense. So here is that Get Lost. Puts those map tokens into play. And Bonebringer Valkyrie. Whoa. Is that a draw?
That is an incredible draw, because we get to put the counter on Yorion, make it a lifelinker.
Yeah.
Attack for 5, put you to 7. I have lethal in the air next turn, and I'm at 8.
Mother of God. Was that just the best possible draw? Boom goes the dynamite here. Throwing it onto Yorion, and you gotta just attack, right? Because you can field around the Hive. Bankbuster can come up. Yeah. Bonebringer Valkyrie has first strike, too.
And lifelink.
Yeah, I know lifelink. Yeah, but...
So, oh my God. So you
Wow.
play Shieldred, you crew
So
Bankbuster.
does this map have to be sacrificed at upkeep? Should that have been the play?
Maps only sacrifice at sorcery
Sorcery
speed.
speed. Okay, gotcha. Let's see what we drew. It needs to be a good one. Blood Tithe Harvester is not active. I
Yeah,
think we need to drop off Bankbuster and find a way to kill Boonbringer Valkyrie. So we
Harvester.
got looks at this. You can map first to find, and then Bankbuster. If you can find a way to deal with Boonbringer Valkyrie, this is still Swifty time. Otherwise, don't play the Shieldred. Can't afford that.
Yeah, because the map tokens don't draw cards; they just put it into your hand.
Yeah,
You
if
can
it's
draw
a
the
land,
Bankbuster, and that puts you to 9. But you're facing down
yeah,
9.
no reason to map in this order. Because now, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Gonna map
the
again.
Inti doesn't help.
Wow, what a top deck there from the study group. There's Blood Tithe Harvester into the yard as well.
It doesn't help either. And now, yeah, we're one short of surviving. The Bankbuster plus Shielder only gains 2 life. We needed to gain 3.
You can gain 3. Graveyard Trespasser can attack and gain a life.
Oh, but then there's the anchorage. That's another flyer.
Oh baby, our director's like,
Yeah.
do you forget?
Indeed, I did.
Wow, Johnny Gutman coming back here to win this game in what looked basically unwinnable.
Well, it looked good, and then I think he navigated a little poorly with the Hall turn.
I think that was the only turn I didn't love was the Yorian attack,
Yeah.
but otherwise played really tight Magic to get there. And wow, what an incredible game. It looks like,
Bring her Valkyrie. And
I mean, back in my day, it was Lyra Dawnbringer. It didn't have any of these fancy backup abilities. You just cast it. If it died, you died. You died with it.
yeah, sometimes your opponent had things like Ral, is it Viceroy to kill your Baneslayer Angel in the top 8 of an open?
What are you talking about? It was my
Camera.
opponent would have Doomblade to kill it. That's the only answer for that card.
I killed Brad's Baneslayer Angel, top 8 of an open on camera.
Nice.
With a Ral, is it Viceroy?
I don't even know what that card does.
In the sideboard of Modern, is it Phoenix?
Yes.
It's a 5-mana Planeswalker.
Oh yeah, I remember. I love that one. I played that a lot in Standard.
Yeah.
Nice. Got him. So here we go. Here is the draw. 10 life though. But here comes
fire up the anchorage and slam in. That's 11.
Amazing here from our tournament leader, Ginky Johnny Gutman here advancing to 8-0. He's got to concede the last round though, right?
I mean, he's got to.
Otherwise, that's the curse. You can't win a tournament if you XO the Swiss. This is kind of the same.
He's not necessarily locked for the number 1 seed. Magic of Player 1 is still X1.
Okay.
They win out and you concede the last round. You could end up the 2 seed.
And probably not still. If you lose the last round versus winning your last round, your tiebreakers are probably good, but I don't think Johnny's going to leave that to chance, but who knows? Who knows? We will see.
Who knows?
All right.
It looks like they are still playing Magic of Player 1 and Victor Carvalho.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, we are going to take ourselves a nice little break, and then we'll be right back. Maybe we'll check in on any of the last matches going on. If not, we'll just be right and ready for round number 9 here with the Mana Traders Series Final. Don't go anywhere. The dramatic ending of day number 1 is right around the corner. All right, everybody, welcome back here to the Mana Traders Series Final. My name is Corey Baumeister. That's Ross Merriam, and we are getting you ready for some win and in Magic. This is the final one. Biggest match for the couple players that do have the chance to get to 18 points. So it's going to be really exciting. Let's take a look at the standings here and see where our players are lying and who's already made it in and who's still got some work to do. So starting at the top, that's Johnny Gutman dominating. Absolutely dominating. I believe that's not updated because I think Magic of Player 1 won as well.
Yeah.
So they're in second. That's the only difference. Yeah, we'll get back to that. Okay, regardless, we did just see Magic of Player 1 win. So they are going to be at 21 points in second place. So more than likely, Johnny Gutman has already locked up the number 1 seed. Everything else doesn't really matter. Now, Lavinga, Fraggle Rock, Magic, Must Be Nice, and it's Swifty time. Nope, excuse me, not Swifty time. those top 5 players are in. And that's it so far, Ross.
Yeah, so we got a bunch more slots left to go. All those players beneath them, starting with It's Swifty time. That's a 8-5-3. That's 8 rounds played, 5 wins, 3 losses. All those players, that's our players that are playing their winning in. That's Go Before the Win, Reyes, ALMTG, Newsnewham, Rick, Remy Fortier. These are the people that we're going to be watching this round. And they're all in a very simple situation. Win, you come back tomorrow and you play for your share of, the lion's share of the $25,000.
Yeah.
Lose and you're out, and you leave with a couple $100.
Yeah, a couple $100, you cry. It's a lot. It is pretty brutal to make it this far and not get it. But when you're giving away so much money at the top, well, not everyone gets the money here. As we're going to be giving away a ton of money tomorrow, $5,000 up top, as well as skipping the qualification for tournaments. That's a pretty big deal. You
Yeah,
know?
and
Yeah.
that gives you a very good chance of being in this same position next year.
Exactly. Yeah, our champ last year, Dom Harvey, did not requalify, but didn't play as many of them. That's for sure. So, Dom's got to enjoy his crown for a couple more days.
I guess he'll
but
just
then,
enjoy his Pro Tour top 8 and
yeah,
move on with his life.
that's pretty good to enjoy a Pro Tour top 8. So, all right, if we're not quite ready yet, let's look at the Pioneer metagame one more time to kind of see how we got here, what decks are doing well, and Fires is at the top, but maybe not necessarily doing as great. We have the one person in on fire at Fredo Rock. Any other surprises here, Ross, from this?
No, this is really what the Pioneer metagame looks like right now. It's
Yeah.
Rakdos, Is It, Amalia, Azorius Control is one of the better, you know, uh, decks among the rest of the field. That's why you see it as 4 copies. And then there's a lot of sort of tier 2 archetypes. There's the Boris Heroic, there's Abzan Greasefang that we've seen today. There's the Bring to Light Omnath deck that we've
Yep.
seen today. So there's a lot of diversity among the rest of the field. The top of the metagame is pretty well established. It was just a big surprise at how much enigmatic fires we saw today. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it had a great day. That said, it's not clear whether that was due to the players losing in Pioneer or whether the players who chose to play Fires in Pioneer lost a lot in the other 2 formats.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to tell on all counts there. So no big story to paint here when it comes to the Pioneer metagame. But yeah, exciting stuff. We'll see. Are we ready to jump into the match that yet or still working on this? Okay. Perfect. Still waiting a little bit here for a player to join. You know what? Let's start with this. Yeah, we're going to start with Raced here. The Hidden Strings player, pretty much the only Hidden Strings gamer, I think, going down. And let's jump in and watch them up against Claudio. This is a nice one.
So Claudio
It's
is
on blue-white control. Always on blue-white control.
Yep.
Yep.
That's generally a tough matchup for the combo deck.
Yeah, especially that this doesn't look great here. You got the Lotus Field, you got Impulse, you got some stuff going on, but doesn't look amazing here. And this is a very big match for these players.
Not the match where you want to mulligan a bunch. Interesting Strict Proctor. That is not one you see in this deck every day.
Yeah, Strict Proctor, and then you can play Lotus Field. Wow. Let's check out this deck list here from Raced.
Yeah, 4 copies of Strict Proctor, so they're really going for it. And a
Wow.
Tail's End to also go with the Lotus Fields. Playing
Strange.
playing this white splash as Sparrow's Headquarters, Temple of Enlightenment, Temple of Plenty, Seachrome Coast, and 4 copies of Mana Confluence. To round out all the utility lands.
Azorius, Lotus Field, and Lotus Field combo. Jam them together.
Basically what's going on here.
Wow.
That could be helpful in this matchup where you really want to have a ton of mana.
Yep. Checks out to me. All right, and here is Lotus Field, and not even trying to cast Impulse or anything here. Very strange. Quick study at end step here from Claudio. Draw a couple cards. See what we got going on. Now we do have that turn next turn that you really go for with these Lotus Field combo decks, and that's being stage go.
Okay, so we've got our setup here.
Yeah.
not a lot of gas back.
Now, how does this interaction work with Field of Ruin and Thespian Stage and Lotus Field? Can you walk us through this a little bit?
So essentially, with Field of Ruin, you really need to respond to the Thespian stage activation. Because once stage becomes a copy of Lotus Field, it has hexproof.
Yeah.
And if you go for it while it's still a stage, they can turn it into a field in response, and hexproof will counter the activation of Field of Ruin by state based action when it goes to resolve. So it's about leaving the mana up.
Okay.
But Claudio says, you know what? I can't afford to do that at this
Yeah.
point. I've got to cast this Memory Deluge. I've got to find some interaction. Doesn't look like they were able to find any sort of counter spells. It's a lot of removal in hand. Get Lost, March of Otherworldly Light, Supreme Verdict, the
Yeah.
Wandering Emperor. This is a hand that you want against creature strategies, not against combo.
Yeah, and you usually don't play a ton of counter spells in the main from these Azorius decks. This isn't the Yorian version, so you do play a little bit more, but yeah, just not drawing them.
It's like 3 Dovin's Veto, 3 Make Disappear, 2 Change the Equation.
Wow. Okay, that is a lot of counter spells. Let's see if we find one off this Teferi. If not, this game is over. If Race goes for it.
Yeah, but that is a big question because
What else are you gonna do with that hand is my question. Like Tails End. Now, if you start with Hidden Strings, let's see, you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. Can you go 7, 8, 12? You're one short of going Pour Over the Pages and Emergent Ultimatum.
yeah.
Honestly, with Teferi in play, though, I think you just have to jam. The one thing I would do is make sure I can play around Make Disappear, aka playing Otawara first. Then you brick 3 of the counter spells. Then they have to have one of the 3 Dovin's Vetoes, and then you go from there. But it is tempting to hold it back.
Yeah, with this being an open deck list event, I think it makes it a lot easier for Reyes to navigate, as you said, around some of the counter spells and really narrow the outs for Claudio and be aggressive.
One other play that you can do that's somewhat defensible is go to your opponent's upkeep. No, that doesn't work. I was going to say Awara back the Teferi and then try to Tails End it, because that counters Legends, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think you just priced into playing Otawara, going with Pour Over the Pages, and starting there.
Start with strings.
Oh.
Going for a tap and untap. Okay. This plays around everything.
I mean, does it? I guess it does.
Because
because then you go to combat, and then you pour. All right.
the problem is, so had they had a counter spell for the hidden strings, though, then you'd have to play Otawara, play Pour. You only untap the 2 Lotus Fields, and you don't have the mana for Ultimatum.
Yeah, but you can draw some stuff.
Yeah,
and
you'd have to pour into something, but that's still fine. You also like baited that counter spell with what is probably your worst card.
So I think at this point you just go to second main.
Yeah, losing the 1 mana doesn't make a difference.
Claudio just didn't have it anyways here. And here we go. You can't ultimatum off this, but
make sure you leave 2 black in pool.
Spicy. Then you can ultimatum. Nice. Reyes is so good at this deck. Honestly, both players are masters of their craft, and they only play one deck. Both of them in Pioneer, you know? But honestly, that's the style, or that's kind of the way that Pioneer and Modern are right now. Like, yeah, you can bounce around decks and try to master everything, but if you're just good at one deck, I think it's more advantageous to just stick with it in current state of Pioneer and Modern.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. The metagames just don't shift that rapidly.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do you get off this Emergent Ultimatum here, Ross?
With a mana floating, pretty sure it is Dark Petition, Omniscience, and Leer.
Okay, I like that.
From there, you should either be able to set up a kill or set up another ultimatum. Just keep narrowing their choices.
I like it. Yeah, it seems pretty trivial from this spot. A real big fan of Reyes' choice to just play Strict Proctor. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, not only does it, help your own game plan and give you more mana,
Mm-hmm.
it can
It
also,
counters stuff of your opponents,
yeah,
right?
it can also
Yeah.
slow your opponent down. It could be an early blocker against aggressive decks.
Mm. Cool stuff.
Okay, we have the 3 cards selected if we want to look at the exile zone.
Okay, so we got Lear and Dark Petition. Well, that's game.
So now,
Another Emergent Ultimatum. You have the hidden strings in the yard to untap the 2 Lotus Fields. Emergent Ultimatum once again. I don't even know if you need it at this point. Just cast all the stuff in your yard.
yeah, I think Claudio knows that this game is over.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, how we had the March and a million white cards.
Yeah,
But
okay.
so now the Lear is gone.
Yeah, gone for good. So, Emergent Ultimatum. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that changes things here.
Can we kill without the
Doesn't
Lear?
look like Rest is too phased so far.
So there are 2 copies of Chandra Hope's Beacon.
You only need 1 right now, right?
Because normally you keep looping Chandra and Balaged recoveries
Mm-hmm.
with Lear. Have we used any Balaged recoveries as of yet? I don't think so.
I think so
So
either.
there's 3. So we should still be able to, between the 3 Balaged recoveries and 2 Chandra's Hope's Beacons, deal 20.
Alright. Looks like Pour Over the Pages and Dark Petition.
Was that a Balaged recovery in the graveyard?
There is one, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
We still have 4 total. That should still be 20.
Yeah, it looks like this is
But
still
how
pretty
are we?
wrapped up.
Kind of have to dig through our entire deck.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to watch the master work here and watch and learn. Here we go. Emergent Ultimatum number 3 of this turn.
This is the interesting one.
Yeah, when you lose Lear, it becomes a lot less trivial. Omniscience Pour Chandra.
I imagine this will be poor Chandra to hand.
Yep. Here we go.
To cast.
And now everything doubles.
Yeah. Now let's double pour. Yeah. Chandra should let us tear through our deck pretty well.
You would think so here. Cast Omniscience at some point. Then do this trick. Here we go. Draw some more cards. And there is 5 damage, killing Teferi and dealing to face.
You get 2 targets with it.
Yep. And now another Chandra. Balaged's Recovery. When you return Balaged's Recovery and Chandra here, that should just be the loop. As long as you have enough mana, but plenty of mana right now. And if anything, even if you just passed with Chandra, you're still probably winning. You know, like, got all these headquarters to cycle to, which is kind of cool.
There's a Get Lost in hand for Claudio, so
yeah,
I think they'd be pretty happy to get to untap here.
Yeah.
But at this point, we're just resolving these 2 impulses. We got to find something in the top 8 cards.
Mm-hmm.
We do have hidden strings plus the cycles on the 3 headquarters too, so we sort of get to look at 11 cards.
Yeah, and it only copies the spell once, right? The static, or is the static always? I kind of can't remember.
Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell.
All right. Yeah.
So we found an Otawara off the first impulse.
Yeah, it does trigger only once each turn. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not crazy. So that's a problem. Still 10 cards in hand. Yeah, without Lear, things are not as easy.
So we need to find the other 2 Balaged recoveries.
Let's see, that's down to 8 cards.
Because then you can return the other Chandra, play it, then Balaged recovery, copy it because it's a new Chandra, and get back the other
then
Chandra.
Get the loop going. With not killing the Chandra here, I got to think that there is going to be another turn for Claudio.
Well, they don't need to kill this one. You just deal the 4. They don't need it to get to lethal.
Okay, bounces it with Otawara. Spicy. All right, here is another hidden strings to do it twice.
Yeah, so this is going to get us to 12 mana.
And then you start cycling.
Yeah. Now, we need to find some pretty specific things, I think. Played into the march. Didn't think there was another way of interacting, and losing the Leer was a big deal.
I saw the march and I didn't see it coming, so. I saw it and still kind of got by it. So, what can we get here? Another Otawara? Is there 2 in the list?
There's 2, but one's in play, so not sure what is happening here because we also know the bottom 6 cards of our deck.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to cycle a Spares Headquarters into an out, playing the Sylvan Scrying is not helping you unless you know the out is in those cards. But then why didn't you take them off the original impulses?
Yeah, this is strange.
This is the first thing that has looked very strange to me.
And needless to say, this Chandra staying in play is another Spares Headquarters. Get to cycling. Okay, there's a bunch of cards.
Okay, so we're using the other ability on the Chandra. So,
okay. 4, 5. There's only one spell. Looks like a Sylvan Scrying.
not ideal.
Nope. Top deck Strict Proctor off the first one. Probably another cycle incoming.
Strict Proctor can attack.
Yeah.
Not that well into Shark Typhoon, but
no.
But Tail's End can counter the triggered ability that makes a shark token.
Ooh, all right, now you're talking.
Now I think we are out. Yeah. So
Yep. This Get Lost is going to be excellent, though. Wow. We're still playing Magic.
Yeah, and you can Field of Ruin the Otawara, maybe.
Now, there is still a ball against recovery, so at some point, they're going to come back.
Yeah. Also, now these map tokens can help make our Strict Proc.
I mean, honestly, that's real. And now Claudio does not have much action.
We are limping over the finish line here.
Yeah, there is the dig through time, I suppose. There's Mulligans.
Yeah, that's what they needed last turn. Couldn't find it.
Still good, though. There's Mulligan. Okay, here's Strict Prospector. Strict Proctor, excuse me. Larger, Vizier. Get that out of there. We don't need that. Now, do you just recover a Chandra right now? Probably. Or do you hold up Tail's End? Tail's End for Teferi has been what Raced is holding up so far. We'll see if that is still the case. Mana Confluence to hand.
Okay.
And then, yeah, probably just saying go here.
Dig Through Time is a pretty good draw.
Yeah, tap all 4.
First, we'll blow up a land. Is the basic in the deck? There's only one basic island.
Prob's not.
Yeah, it is not.
Now dig it up.
This is a 2/4 Strict Proctor. So you need at least a 3/3 Shark, which doesn't leave you any real wiggle room.
The Tail's End still gets rid of that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if you find a counter spell too.
Well, that was pretty bad. If those were the cards you found, I mean, I guess maybe they counter.
Change the Equation counters Balagate Recovery.
Oh,
because it's green.
It also just counters Chandra, right? Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, more Strip Mines.
This is a ridiculous game.
This is ridiculous. What a nice one to watch here. Okay, now we're going back to Reyes. Tap land.
Pay 2, please. If you want to scry.
there's a Nambo.
Yeah, not sure on these temples. I think when you already have Spare's headquarters in the mana base, adding more tap lands is tough.
Yeah, I don't judge. I like a good Temple of Tilt every once in a while. Now, do we want to cast one of these recoveries? Looks like not. Eventually, what are you cycling into, you know? Also, this is game one, and wrist clock is already down to 12 minutes from just comboing off to no success.
Well, this game is definitely not lasting more than 9 more turns.
Thank God. All right, here is Shark
Ooh,
Typhoon.
decided-
Let's it go.
Yeah, we
That
decided.
tail's end is for Teferi, it looks like. All. Do you attack? Probs not. You don't want to fall to 5. 5 is a very key number.
Yeah, 5 means one Chandra resolving is
Exactly.
lethal. Which is why I really don't get not using the tail's end on the shark.
It's why I also am shocked that we didn't cast one Ball Against Recovery last turn. But really looking to just cycle and try to find something else, but I don't know what we're trying to find. Omniscience? Maybe Riz is just trying to deck themselves for style points. Okay, there's a Thespian stage. More mana. Now do you cast a recovery?
Copy your hall.
Oh! All right. Reyes is playing chess. We're all playing checkers.
Only 5 cards left in the library. It's going to take a little bit to grind through blockers.
What are you at? 7? Okay. Interesting.
That's interesting, too.
That was a great draw. If Hall gets fired up, if Reyes Hall gets fired up to animate an attack, then Beseiju will destroy the other Hall with the activation on the stack.
Exactly.
Oh, baby. This has been my favorite game of the tournament so far. This is great. And here we go. Deck the halls. I have responses.
Counter this.
Oh, yeah. Reyes has a make disappear as well. It's trying to make Claudio disappear here.
I mean, this is lethal in one more turn.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Ottawa doesn't do anything. It doesn't bounce lands.
No, it does not.
Oh no, it does say artifact. It doesn't say non-land. It says artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker.
Okay.
So it's 4 plus the ward on the hall.
Okay. That is a clean answer, though.
Yeah, because then it's a Thespian stage and it
Exactly.
can no longer copy Hall.
Because Hall is dead, so you just have to say go and Ottawa it back.
But now you don't have the shark to contain the Strict Proctor.
Well, that's still a much more turns. But oh, Hidden Strings, you get to start by doing more than that, it looks like. I suppose you can go with this. And then Ottawa pay the 3 ward, leaves Claudio with just 1 mana here, so still can do it.
Oh, we could have hidden strings 2 of the lands and tapped it out to would have gotten you down to exactly 6 mana.
True.
We could have activated our Hall on beginning of combat.
True, but there could have been a get lost, and then that play looks silly. Now I like this play way better because we get to go second main, Hidden Strings untap, play both Balagads if you want. Or wait, can't you just Tails End this? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's an activation.
Yes, Tails End on Ottawara's ability to bounce a Thespian stage that's copied as a Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, this is entertainment.
This is how you win with Lotus Field.
Wow. When you lose Lear, you got to get creative, and nobody is more creative with Hidden Strings than Riz.
These are the games that 80% of people that have tried playing Lotus Field lose, and they're like, yeah, this deck is too big brain for me.
Yeah, like I'm throwing it in the trash, and then the 20% is just like, yes. I love this. I was born into the trenches. Wow, that's awesome. Incredible stuff. Okay, what does Claudio do against this really interesting version of Lotus Field?
Okay, so in their sideboard, I see one Hallowed Moonlight, two Rest in Peace, three Mystical Dispute, Kahira as a companion, two Narset Parter Avails, one Starnheim Unleashed, one Supreme Verdict, three Regal Caracal, and one Farewell.
Okay.
As is typical in combo matchups, you cut white cards and you add blue cards.
Makes sense.
So let's get Mystical Disputes and Narsets in the deck. I could also see one Rest in Peace. It's like good against Lear, but you never, ever want to draw two. It's
Yep.
not even that good. I'm not married to it by any means. And then we get some of this poopy removal out of the deck, although March ended up being pretty critical in that
Yeah,
game.
March was awesome there. It extended this game much longer than I feel it was going to naturally. But here we go. Game number 2. And I believe Reyes mulled a 5 that game too. Just popped
Yeah,
off.
had a pretty rough opening hand.
All right. How about the hand from Claudio to start?
Yeah, not enough lands. This one looks fine. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
Make to Spear. We got 3 lands. We
Okay.
just put the Make to Spear back.
I believe we did. It's disappeared.
Kept 2 Wandering Emperors. That can't be right.
That can't be right. I'm with what? Wow. That was
That
strange.
is that a misclick?
That might have been a misclick. That just doesn't make any sense.
But don't you get to like hit confirm after you put the card on the bottom? Like you got to misclick twice.
That's a good point too. I don't know. Gotta deal with those creatures.
I am so confused.
So very confused. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. All right, so there is Lotus Field. Coming in, getting rid of those lands.
Yeah,
And
this is a great hand. We got this
oh,
Dead
yeah.
Stage copy. We have Pour plus Strings plus Recovery. Start digging through our deck.
but
and
how do you
generating
beat 2
mana
Wandering Emperors?
easily? There's a silence.
Yeah, silence is basically the Veil of Summer of Pioneer, you know?
Yeah. They've got 2 Silence, 2 Narsets Reversal, 2 Mystical Dispute that came in out of the sideboard, so plenty of counter spells to win counter wars in this matchup. So maybe that changed the equation, wouldn't have even mattered.
Yeah.
But
Still? Or that make disappear, I guess, right?
okay. Deluge found us 2 counter spells, Dispute and Veto. That's nice. Fortunately, these Field of Ruins are making it difficult to cast all our spells.
Yep. All right. Now do you just go for it? I think so. I mean, you have to counter it.
Yeah, counter this, and then you still have. Well, if they strings first, you can't dispute that.
Yep.
Now they're up to 10 mana, and you can't really dispute the Pours. I think the dispute's just kind of bad here.
I mean, as long as Reyes did not make a mistake, which doesn't look like there's a mistake anywhere, and here we go.
We're off to the races.
Yep.
It's a pretty bad set of 3.
Yep. But you got a lot more gas in the tank here with another pour and another ball against.
Yeah, so we're going to see at least 6 more cards. Probably at least 7 with the headquarters, too. There's an Emergent Ultimatum. That should do it.
Okay. Green. Black.
Yeah, cast this with 5 floating.
They got the march again, though. But this time, we're not even going through the motion. Reyes takes it down. Oh, let's check with us. I believe there's only one match going. Is it that Serum Visions? I believe that is our only winning in going. Our heroic gamer.
Man.
So, dang, we're just gonna watch our last backup match here with Serum Vision. Let's jump on into that if we can, director, and try to see some more winning in Magic. I wanted to see this Boros heroic deck as well. So, all right. Here we go, and look like we're in maybe the late stage of this. There's multiple showdowns in the yard.
Oh, they might have gotten thought seized.
Well, I'd like to think they weren't. And yeah.
Takes Reckless Rage, so 1 card left for Serum Visions, none for Victor.
Okay, and this is our last winning in here. Victor, who played Amulet, and had a really strong start, stumbled a little bit, and Serum Visions kind of has just been medium throughout the event, but so far Pioneer has been dominating.
Yeah, and this Gigantha looks big, but reflection stops it. You can just keep making copies of things and chump blocking if you
Yep.
need to. You could even potentially double block and trade, let's say, a copy of a Bone Crusher Giant and a Goblin Shaman token.
Yep.
So I think the Gigantha is going to end up being on defense, and then it's a question of how Victor can push through. The Hive can attack through, and you can potentially set up one big turn to close it out a couple turns down the road.
It checks out to me. Right, we'll see. We're on Victor's turn here. No cards in hand, just the one spike field for Seer Vision. So, wow, this has truly been a game. All resources depleted from both players.
Yeah, a lot of trading going on. And with Victor still at a healthy 15, doesn't seem like Serum Visions was able to get much going this
Yeah,
game.
not really, it looks like. And it looks like we are confirming Victor is up a game.
Ugh, tough. Went for the aggressive plan. Did Serum Visions would have probably loved to get matchups like the many enchanties decks, but
Yes.
ran into a lot of blood crypts, which is not what Sacred Foundry decks like to do.
Well, one thing I will say is the good players really like to play these agency style decks. And sometimes the players that don't get enough practice play the style of decks like enchanties and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe just the better players are playing Rakdos and stuff. But like that being said, they're all pretty great players here.
Well, Monstrous Rage could make things a little interesting if Victor's plan is to just chump block with copies from Reflection. Although Serum Vision's still just playing this defensively. Make a Bone Crusher Giant on the end step. Turn, that's a land. Make another Bone Crusher. If we fired up the den and attacked with everything, block the original Bone Crusher, you take 14. Doesn't sound that bad to me.
Hmm?
I like dealing 14. Now requires attacking all out, and then you might be dead to a flurry of spells. I guess you're at 15.
You're 15. It's
Yeah,
going to
like
be pretty
what
rough.
3 spells could possibly kill you?
I mean, Ancestral Anger,
Anger,
Ancestral Anger, Ancestral Anger. So there, it's possible. So you
Well,
block the OG,
I,
take 8,
I
9,
think
7, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what it's gonna take. So the first anger is 1, then the next one's 2. So that gets you to 8. The rage gets you to 11.
Here's the question:
The
do
hazard
Spikefield
gets you to
Hazard the
12.
face at end step?
Oh yeah, the hazard gets you to 12. So I think it needs to be triple anger. I think
Okay.
triple triple running angers will get you there.
I would love to see end step Hazard to
And
the face.
you need to end step hazard too, because you need 3 red for the angers, one fourth red for the rage, and a fifth for the Spikefield hazard, and you only have 4.
Yes.
Yep,
You.
triple running angers.
Gut shot. I mean, Defiant Strikes as well. You can throw those in the mix.
Because those won't pump the later angers. Those could be in the middle. Like those are just
Sure.
the first 2 of those are just redraws.
10 District Legionnaire. That
So
can't be enough, right?
This is 11
Close.
because you rage the Legionnaire and turn the rage into a 4 damage spell, and you have 7 with your creatures.
A close battle, but looks like this is just going to be GG, right? This does not draw cards. It's only scries. Put a counter on.
Yeah, and you're 2 facing down a bunch of lethal attackers.
Getting in last points of damage, but man, Serum Vision just fell 2 last brutal games against Mateus Leverado last round on Rakdos and this. So yeah, I guess not doing too great.
And the one
at the
against
very end.
Leverado was big.
Was bad luck.
He's going to watch that later and realize Leverado did not have that Mayhem Devil.
Yeah, exactly. That was the really brutal aspect. To maybe 2 Serum Visions, it looked like it was just, you had the Mayhem, you had it all locked up. But no, that was pretty bad luck. So, all right, welcome back to the booth one last time. Holy cow. That was quite the ending. Any big thoughts on the end of the day so far?
Well, my thoughts are with a lot of Enchantress, I kind of like the Lotus Field deck for tomorrow. That might be a nice one. You're going to have to ultimately win it in Modern,
Yeah.
the way tomorrow is going to be structured, but the Pioneer could just keep you in it and give you a shot at the very end.
Yeah. Reyes might just be like, you know what? Take the L. Just get me in Pioneer. I got this. I mean, that is how Dom won last year. Dom went from the winners bracket, which I believe was Pioneer last time, down to Modern, which he dominated with Amulet Titan, you know? So actually, no, I take that back. It was the same. It was Amulet Titan. He went down and did it with Enchanties. He was one of the few people playing it and then got back and won it. So Dom could do it. These players could as well. So really, really exciting stuff, y'all. That is going to be it for day number 1. Day number 2 now is going to start at a different time. It will be starting at noon Eastern time instead of 10 a.m. like it started today. And make sure to get here right on time because all the action is going to be fast and furious. We don't stop these players while they're going. So if we're starting with the winners bracket, there's just going to be matches going chaotically that we're going to be jumping into all day.
Yeah, we just Tokyo drift between all the matches that are going.
Yeah, wow. A reference from something in the year 2000. I'm impressed with you, to be honest. So had to get that one in. I'm proud of you. All right, so let's think. What do we got for our other stuff? One thing before we go, y'all, if you want to play in these Mana Traders events, remember February is going to be Pioneer, all Pioneer. You got to qualify to make it in. You got to play those qualifier rounds right at the start of the month. That will get you into the end of the month tournament. And then if you make it into the top 2, you'll qualify for the end of the year event, just like we're playing right now, as well as the top 2 from the qualifying league. That's how we get it throughout the season of our players being qualified. It's a really long process to get to the point we're at right now. So, and if you want to take part in the loan program here with Mana Traders, it's the best one around. You can use that promo code right there, exclamation point Bash Bros. That'll save you 15% off. Ross, any last thoughts?
I mean, Lotus Field looks great. I think tomorrow in Modern is going to be particularly interesting. Is it still just Rakdos dominating, or do we find someone that has figured out the Rakdos matchup or brought something that they can beat the Rakdos decks with?
Come on, Tron.
So I've got that big question. The big question is, can anything beat Rakdos in Modern?
Yep.
And my big question in Pioneer is, can Reyes really run through the table if they need to with the Lotus Field combo deck that I think seems pretty well positioned?
Seemed pretty good. Some hot tech there. A lot of fun action to get to tomorrow. But that's going to do it for us today. I'm Corey Baumeister. That's Ross Merriam. We got Adrian behind the scenes, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.